There is a new political party on the block. Floyd Shivambu has officially launched Mayibuye Afrika. Now, forgive me for not jumping with excitement, but do we really need another party? Honestly, at this point, forming a political party in South Africa is much easier than starting a spaza shop. At least with a spaza shop, you need stock and a license. With politics, just a microphone, a logo, and some recycled promises. I'll tell you upfront, this party will not bring any real change because leadership is about character. And Floyd Shivambu has shown us over and over again that is a man of questionable character. We live in a country where when politicians lose influence, they think that the solution is to start their own movement. When Julius Malema was expelled from the ANC, he started EFF. Recently, former President Jacob Zuma started MK because he had problems in the ANC. I could go on and on. This is a pattern that we're seeing in South African politics. So people are forming parties to revive their political careers. No, the problem is all these small parties fracture the vote. That's why we now have the so-called progressive caucus, because all these small parties claim that they want to be a solution to the problems that majority of South Africans are facing. So these parties essentially hold the same values. They're not offering anything different to South Africans. They claim to represent the poor and the marginalized. And if that were true, why are the masses still in poverty while the number of parties keeps growing? When Floyd Shivambu left MK, as we had anticipated, he started talking about consultation. That was marketed like some inclusive democratic process. But the honest truth is, consultation in South Africa means I've already made the decision. And in this case, had already decided that he was going to form a new political party. He realized that a lot of us are fed up with those political parties. So the strategy was to make us feel like we made the decision ourselves. It was to make us feel like we were in the room when the decision to form a new political party was taken. The Mayibuye consultation process was never about inclusion. It was about mobilizing votes, creating the illusion that it was our project, when really it was his survival strategy. I like to give balanced perspective. So I had to look into the one thing that Mayibuye is claiming to do differently. And the major thing I found from that consultation process is that they are claiming that they will give South Africans the first say on controversial matters. In one of his speeches during the consultation process, Floyd Shivambu claimed that the EFF lost a lot of votes because they were too radical on the issue of illegal foreigners. So they were not paying attention to what the voters were saying. The leadership of the EFF kept singing Pan-Africanism, open borders, blah, 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 when South Africans were saying this issue of illegal immigration needs to be taken seriously. So Floyd Shivambu claims that this new party will give South Africans the first say. So they will be the ones who influence policy decisions in the party. I fail to understand how this ought to happen because Floyd Shivambu himself is a Pan-Africanist, if I'm not mistaken. So he believes in this idea of open borders. He believes in this idea of Africa for all, right? He believes in everything that the EFF stood for. I wonder how he's going to lead a party which has policies that stand against what he stands for. He calls himself a Marxist, a Leninist. So what happens when his voters are like, we believe in the capitalist system? Aren't his personal values supposed to align with the policy of the party? I think that should be the foundation. That should be the reason why you are forming a political party, to create a space where you attract people who share the same values as yourself. Hey man, this guy just confuses me. Here's the core issue. You can't separate the man from the party. This is why we have to interrogate his character. He left the EFF saying that they hadn't done him wrong. He claimed that it was a revolutionary move. I don't even know what that means exactly. But he was basically saying that he's going to a new party to help build a firm foundation. He also claimed that this party he was moving to shared the same values as the EFF. Now suddenly he's calling EFF a cult. So this is very much confusing. All these years you were part of a cult, and as a leader you decided to be disingenuous and hid this cult information from voters. Why didn't you say that when you were moving? Why didn't he say that EFF is a cult, that's why I'm leaving? Why is he only saying it now that the relationship he has with MK is chai? When he got to MK, he was praising Zuma. He was claiming that everything we know about Jacob Zuma, everything we had in the Zondo Commission was fabricated. He attended Zuma's court cases, saying the classic statement, "We have been lied to. This man has done nothing wrong." Fast forward to today, he calls the MK a family business.
Mkondo Wesizwe is not an honest organization. It's a family business of President Zuma for narrow benefit of him and his family.
I could go on and on and on. How can we trust a man of this character with leading a country? This is the bigger pattern. In South Africa, new parties often aren't about ideology. They're about reviving careers. As I've already mentioned, we saw this with Jacob Zuma. We saw this with Herman Mashaba. We saw this with Mmusi Maimane. Now Floyd Shivambu is doing it after losing influence in both the EFF and the MK. This isn't revolution, it's recycling. Politicians are treating parliament like cafeteria. When they're done eating from one plate, they move to the next table with a new uniform. Floyd Shivambu hasn't proven that he works in the interest of South Africans. He has proven that he knows how to position himself as the messiah figure. And the sad truth is, South Africans are in desperate need of a savior. So any person who promises light gets our attention. This is not so difficult to explain because when people are in crisis, they often project hope to anyone who shouts the loudest. And that is how we end up disappointed over and over again. Every time a new political figure emerges with a new political party, South Africans are like, he must be the one. And we just keep getting disappointed. Solution is not multiplying political parties. That can never solve unemployment, gender-based violence, the messed up education and health system. We need leaders who can hold the same values tomorrow as they claim today, and who will come up with solutions, because we already know what the problems are. I had to break it down to you, but Mayibuye Afrika is not the new dawn. But that's just my take. What do you think? Is Floyd Shivambu another recycled politician chasing a seat in parliament? Or do you think Mayibuye Afrika can actually change something? Just let me know in the comments.